Barbara Gordon is the most well-known Batgirl in existence, and for good reason. For a long time, women in comics were created purely as a love interest for the male superheroes. Women served as a damsel in distress, but that changed in 1966. To quote DC, they said, "Readers remember Batwoman and the other Batgirls from years back. They were there because romance seemed to be needed in Batman's life. But thanks to the big change and a foresighted editor, these hapless females are gone for good. In their place stands a girl who is a capable crime fighter." And so Barbara Gordon was born. She was created as the daughter of Commissioner Gordon. Post-crisis, she is sometimes also the niece of Jim Gordon. Her mother left them when Barbara was still young, and when she eventually saw Batman in action, she was inspired to become just like him. Her reasons to fight crime were not to avenge anyone though. Her motives were purely altruistic. The 60s were a time where women's empowerment was a big deal, and that shows in the character of Batgirl. Besides fighting crime at night purely to help people, she was a smart woman with a doctorate in library science. She was the head of the Gotham City Public Library. DC did their best promoting this top gal by putting her on covers, where sometimes she would even overshadow Batman. She was a success in real life and in comics, until she hung up the cape in the Batgirl Special Issue 1 in 1988 due to feeling unfulfilled. The same year, Joker paid a visit to Gordon's house. In The Killing Joke, Barbara opened the door and he shot her in the stomach, hitting her spine, which paralyzed her. She became incredibly depressed, struggling with the loss of her mobility. She devoted all of her time to studying computer systems and developing them. This is when Barbara took on the name Oracle. She eventually formed an alliance with Black Canary and the Huntress, forming the Birds of Prey. She even worked with the Suicide Squad because of her crazy computer skills. Of course, she still mainly worked with Batman to the point where she was seen as his intellectual equal. When the Flash traveled back in time, creating Flashpoint, Barbara recovered from her injuries and was back as Batgirl. This was until a murderer named the Mirror beat her up and injured her pretty bad once again. To her, this was a reenactment of her first initial trauma by the Joker. Barbara finds herself frozen and caught in the flashback, unable to defend herself against the Mirror. These comics revealed that Barbara Gordon struggled with PTSD. The writer, Gail Simone, worked together with Dr. Letamendi to accurately portray what post-traumatic stress looks like and how it can be treated. PTSD is a mental health disorder that consists of 8 criteria. The first one is a stressor. The person is directly exposed to or witnessed a traumatic event such as death, serious injury, or sexual violence. It also occurs within people who learned a close relative or friend went through something like that, or people who were exposed to details of those crimes. A second criteria consists of intrusion symptoms such as nightmares, flashbacks, and emotional distress after remembering traumatic details. The third criteria states that the person avoids trauma-related stimuli like thoughts or places. Up next are the negative alterations in cognitions and in mood. This means they experience negative thoughts or feelings like being isolated. The fifth criteria is trauma-related arousal and reactivity such as problem sleeping, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. All symptoms must be present for more than 1 month, and the symptoms create distress or impairment in social and occupational life. The symptoms cannot be a side effect of medication, substance, or another illness. Barbara mainly struggled with intrusive thoughts and nightmares, hypervigilance, avoiding triggers, and a change in mood, such as numbness. Barbara's injuries can be compared to the injuries of war veterans. Even her drive to go back into crime fighting is similar to soldiers who long to return to combat. Even without being physically able to do so, she continued fighting crime with her computer skills. In the US, 6 to 9% of the population suffers from PTSD at some point in their life. It's why it's important to have stories just like Barbara's to show that they too are only human. Batgirl showed that there is no shame in seeking professional help. Barbara got psychotherapy to heal as much as possible, which is pretty badass. Therapy allowed Barbara to rediscover her identity as Batgirl. Eventually, Barbara went through something called post-traumatic growth, which means that she found strength and meaning from this traumatic experience. In issue 16, Batgirl confronts the Joker. Here, she's equally terrified because he reminded her of her traumatic experience. However, she's able to move past her fear and says, "I've been afraid of this nightmare forever. I am done being afraid." She finds the strength to fight Joker and his henchmen. She doesn't feel stuck anymore, which is a great sign of recovery. I hope you're all doing well, and if you are struggling with something, know that it's okay to reach out to someone, a friend, a professional, because we could all use a hand every once in a while.